What if I told you there is a tiny molecule being studied right now that can help with fat loss, healing injuries, improving libido, boosting energy, and even fertility? They are called peptides. And most doctors either don't understand them or won't talk about them. So today, I'm giving you rapid fire breakdown of 20 of the most talked about peptide in medicine and longevity right now. No bro science, no hype. Just what the research and the real world clinical experience actually says. I'm Jay Patel, a certified PA specializing in hormones and peptides here at MyFitMed. I run a direct medical practice, which means I don't take insurance. So I get to focus on optimization medicine, prevention, and performance, not just sick care. Quick disclaimer. I'm not telling you to take these peptides, and I'm definitely not telling you where to get them. I only prescribe peptides that are medically appropriate and that comes from a FDA-approved pharmacy after a proper medical evaluation for all my patients. This video is simply so you understand what people are talking about, so you get a general idea. Maybe you can talk to your medical provider about it. Alright, let's start. The first one is fat loss peptides. Because let's be honest, everyone wants abs without cardio. But quick warning, if you lose weight and don't lift weight, you are going to lose muscle, end up skinny fat. So lift weight, at least do some type of resistance training. First up is semaglutide in this category. This one is FDA approved and you have probably heard of it. It's a GLP-1 agonist that slows stomach emptying, increases fullness, improves insulin sensitivity, which means people eat less without even trying. The food noises goes away. The result can be impressive. But some side effect exists like nausea, constipation, fatigue for some people, especially if you're eating very low calories. So it's not a magic pill or it's not a magic shot. It's still a medication. Next is Tirzepatide. Think of it as semaglutide's stronger cousin. Instead of activating one receptor, it activates two, GLP-1 and GIP, which can lead to even greater weight loss with minimal side effects. It's also typically a little more expensive than semaglutide. This one is also FDA approved and helps you lose more weight. So resistant training is also important on this one too. Now things get interesting. Retatrutide is currently being researched and it activates three pathways: GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon receptor. Early trials are showing up to 24% body weight reduction, which is pretty wild, but it's still in trial, so I cannot prescribe it yet. This is going to be the strongest in the category of GLPs. The next is AOD 9604. This is actually a fragment of growth hormone. The theory is that it targets fat metabolism without the other effects of actual HGH. I have seen mixed results with this. Some people lose a lot of fat being on this peptide, but I'm yet not convinced that it 100% helps everybody. Last in the fat loss group is Tesamorelin. This one specifically reduces visceral fat, the dangerous fat around the organs, the belly fat. It's actually FDA approved for HIV-associated lipodystrophy. But doctors noticed something even more interesting. It significantly reduced the belly fat for a healthy patient. Very niche, but very real. Works great since most of the patient has a complaint of belly fat. It also helps improve your overall health. If you're still watching, comment peptides below so I know who actually made it this far. Because the next section is where the things starts getting really interesting. Especially if you deal with injury or recovery issues. If you are in the fitness industry or if you have recent surgeries or anything that is preventing you from having a proper recovery. So the next category is healing and recovery peptides. These are extremely popular in sports medicine and fitness circle. So the number 6, probably the most talked about peptide in existence, BPC-157. It's called a repair peptide. It's studied for tendon healing, ligament repair, gut lining repair, anti-inflammatory effects. It helps injuries heal dramatically faster, helps you recover faster, help you get back in the game faster. Recovery after surgery improves. It's overall recovery peptide. Next is TB500. This peptide is related to protein called thymosin beta 4, which increases when the body is trying to heal tissues. It's often combined with BPC-157 for enhancing the recovery. Next category is immune and anti-inflammatory peptides. KPV is the fragment of hormone called alpha MSH. It's been studied for reducing inflammation, improving immune regulation, and improving gut lining. It's even being explored for conditions like Crohn's disease, inflammatory bowel disease, which is getting very common with all the processed food that we've been eating. It's a very interesting peptide for gut healing and inflammation. Next one is thymosin alpha 1. The peptide helps regulate the immune system, especially T cells. It's been studied for viral infections, immune deficiency, chronic illnesses. Most people say that I think it's helping, but not sure, which is honestly pretty common with all the immune therapy because you have to be on. It's a slow improvement. It's an overall healing. It's overall improvement of your immune system. Next category is strength and muscle peptide. Now, before we get into this next peptides, number 13 on this list is one that a lot of bodybuilders use it, but is also the one that worries me most medically. So stay with me for that one. So number 10 and 11, CJC 1295 and Ipamorelin. These are commonly used together. It comes in a combination. They stimulate your body's natural growth hormone release, increasing your IGF-1 level. This combination can improve recovery, sleep, body composition, muscle repair. And because of that, it's most commonly used in longevity and performance medicine. Number 12, this one is fascinating. MOTS-c is a mitochondrial peptide, meaning it produces inside your mitochondria. Mitochondria, which is the energy powerhouse for our body. Every cell has it. Research suggests it may improve metabolic function, increase endurance, support healthy aging. Basically, helps your cell produce energy more efficiently. So energy at the cellular level gives you the real focused energy and not the jittery energy you get from caffeine. And next one is number 13. And this is the one I mentioned earlier, IGF-1 LR3. It's a long-acting form of insulin-like growth factor used for serious muscle growth, but it also carries serious risks, including effects on abnormal cell growth. This is not a casual peptide. Definitely not something people should experiment without proper medical supervision and lab testing. So before trying this, make sure you talk to your medical provider, get the complete physical done. The next is Epitalon. Researchers are trying it for telomerase length, melatonin regulation, sleep cycles. Some people report amazing sleep after taking this peptide. Some people don't feel the same effect because biology doesn't always behave the way we expect, but it's good anti-aging peptide since it improves the telomerase. Next category is brain and mood peptide. So number 15, Selank is a Russian peptide originally studied for anxiety reduction. Some studies suggest it may work similar to anti-anxiety medications, but without the heavy sedation and all the negative side effect of the traditional anxiety pharmaceuticals. A lot of people say that they start feeling calmer and more focused. Number 16, Cerebrolysin is a mix of neuropeptide studied for brain health and cognition. Some people say it improves focus and mental clarity, but the effects can wear off fairly quickly. So it's not used a lot right now in regenerative medicine. Next category is skin, libido, and appearance. Number 17, GHK-Cu. This is a copper peptide used in many skin and hair products. It has shown improvement in collagen production, skin quality, hair growth, improved fine line and wrinkle. In my opinion, it works far better topically than injected. We have used topically a lot in a lot of patients. Stick to the cream form. Works great for your face. And because of its dark blue color, we also call it a blue Botox or topical Botox. Next one is PT141. Works on a brain libido pathway. It can increase sexual desire in both men and women. But the side effect of this includes nausea, flushing, odd sensation. So it's not for everyone, but if it doesn't give you side effect, it works great. Next one is Melanotan 2. This peptide increases melanin production, meaning tanned skin without having a tanning bed. But some people report new moles, changing moles, which is a big red flag if you have a medical history of skin cancer. So make sure to do this under medical supervision only. The next category is fertility peptides. Number 20, the last one, Kisspeptin. This peptide stimulates the brain to release GnRH, which triggers hormone controlling fertility. That means sperm production in men, ovulation in women. It's been studied heavily in the fertility medicine and IVF. It may also influence testosterone level in men. It's good for natural testosterone production if you're still planning to have kids. So those are 20 of the most talked about peptide in the medicine right now. Not a medical advice, just enough knowledge so when someone brings up peptide, you actually know what they are talking about. But I'm curious, which peptide surprised you the most? Drop the number of the peptide in the comment because I'm planning to future deep dive on specific peptide. And I want to know what people are more curious about so I can make a video on that specific one. And if you want more breakdown like this on hormones, longevity, peptides, metabolism, and optimization medicine, hit subscribe. At MyFitMed, we focus on helping people improve health, performance, and longevity, not just treating diseases. I'm Jay Patel, and I'll see you in the next one.